All right, here we are again. We're going to try this again, so pop back up on there. I know I hate technical difficulties, but we'll get it figured out here before too long. So, Pay, if you're out there, jumping on, and I hope you're jumped on back as well. And I'm going to. So you should see at the bottom when you come onto the show, Pay, it'll say like you're watching, and I'll be able to bring you on camera, but you gotta be saying you're watching. Because it's not saying you're one of my viewers just yet. So we'll get it figured out here in just a minute. I hope everybody's having fun on this Wednesday night. I know I am. I wish the weather would get cooler because I don't like hot weather. 75 is good enough for me. Let's see. All right, Pay, just turn your phone. Was it horizontal, vertical wise, and we'll see if we can get you and then just open it up in the app if you're watching. And then when it should say you can request to join the live feed. We'll get it figured out, I promise. I see your sister's watching. There it is. There we go. Now you're a viewer. All right. Invite. And we'll get going here. Your sister's not.
Hey, hey.
Yay!
Oh,
How are you?
I'm good. Let me get situated here.
Yeah, for whatever reason, laptop to phone just does not work for I don't know why. I've learned that the hard way the last few weeks. So, but we're watching now and we're ready to chat about books and stuff.
Yes, fantastic. And apparently my
Right.
sister is commenting on my ineptitude.
She said you're a dork.
Can you hear me
So how have you
okay?
been?
Because I have to have my headphones on because I can't hear it through my phone. So.
Yeah, I hear you fine. How you been?
Doing good. It's hot.
Good.
It's like
Yeah,
ridiculous hot.
Yeah, it is so. I just walked outside to get something from my daughter, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
Well, I know. I've got a succulent out there that part of it's spilling over the pot onto the front porch, and it's burning the leaves because the porch is so hot. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, welcome to the show.
Well, finally, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know you've watched a few of them, and I know that we've conversed on a few different topics that we wanted to talk about. But at least we can start with the book ones. So it's a little bit easier for us to ease into and talk, and then we can do further shows on down the road. So
for sure.
But you know what this show is all about? Just to highlight my friends. I have so many wonderful friends out there that do so many wonderful things. And I want to share my friends with the rest of my friends in the world. So this is one way to do it.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I mean, and it's a great networking tool for sure. I mean, putting people's interests together, you know, that you never may have thought that person did that thing, you know, or whatever. Like most people just know that I've worked in libraries for years, but they don't know that I do 3D printing. You know, and like I've got 3 machines at work, and over the last year I've had a 3D printer in my kitchen. So.
Yeah, I saw one time you like 3D printed Hogwarts or something, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, I did the Game of Thrones chair, you know, that has all the swords, and I've done so much like Disney stuff and candy dispensers. I mean, but we're a medical library, And so, I mean, I can't tell you how many brains, skulls, hearts, you know, everything
Yeah,
else that we printed. And I'm like, oh, we got an order for another skull.
yeah.
Damn
I
it.
can I can imagine. So is that like, so when you print these, that goes to the hospital throughout there, or is it for the students to study with? Is that what you're doing for them
Well,
at the library?
it can be. We actually print for free for all of our staff, faculty, and students. Um, so, I mean, we've partnered with different departments like pediatric surgery. They've brought us some scans of actual children's skulls,
Hmm.
so we can print them out. It would be like something commonly that they would work on, and so they want something 3D printed so their residents can actually hold it in their hands, see it. It cuts down the cost and the risk whenever you go in to do surgery.
Oh yeah.
So, like, I mean, we can print, you know, a displaced hip or something like that. So a surgeon can see like the intricacies of that before they actually cut somebody open. So it kind of helps cut down on recovery time because they already know what they're looking at before they get in there. But we can do it, like I said, for free. So whereas
Yeah.
normally they would send those off to a company, have a mold made of it, and that's like thousands of dollars, and it gets billed back to the
Yeah.
patient. So
Mm. Yeah. So so does that make you a doctor now? You've seen so many different bones and things like that. You ready to go to school for a doctor?
no, no. But that's basically, you know, I've been in libraries from Sooner Rose Elementary when there was still a Sooner Rose Elementary.
Yeah.
So that would be like the beginning of school. I've been at Choctaw High School, and now I'm at OU University, you know, Health Library. So basically, what we cater to are up and coming doctors, PAs, dentists, nurses, orthopedic surgeons, and we have a lot of doctors that come over and do research,
Yeah.
and we help them. So we get a lot of requests for like interlibrary loan, that kind of thing. So our books are not exciting, you know, there unless you are in that field. So
Yeah.
it's not something that you just want to check out and be like, ooh, bones, yay, you know. But
Oh,
uh, yeah, so it's not as exciting as the high school where I actually taught classes on like how to do a book talk. I gave book talks, and I actually ran the after school tutoring program and the Saturday school program. So I got to help a lot of kids learn how to write papers. You know, math is out. If that's no, we had other tutors for
that's
that. It was not me.
that's
So
that's why you're doing so good, helping me with my novel, ladies and gentlemen. Pay has been so awesome. I've started my novel, and Pay here has been kind enough and to read my horrible mistakes and horrible talking. And but no, she's doing a wonderful job. She points out my where I can make it better, and so I appreciate that from you so much. And you're not a dick. You're wonderful.
well, okay, it wasn't horrible, and I know I keep saying I'm not really trying to be a dick, but I would say it this way, or I would,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. But no, it's
Well, yeah,
really
exactly.
good. It's really good, and I'm excited for whenever it gets published. That's going to be like epic, and I'm going to be like, ooh, I had a little small part in that.
Yeah, you got more than a small part, but I want to thank you for that. Surprisingly enough, you said you started at Sooner Rose. That was where my mother, when she moved to Oklahoma, that was the first school that she taught at. So you got kind of a little bit of
Really?
a, yeah, you got kind of a little bit in common there with my mother. So
Aw.
yeah, Sooner Rose, and she moved over to Townsend. But so working with the kids at high school. So did you? I mean, you taught them things, but what is Peyton's favorite book? What is it? What kind of style brings you into reading? I know we've talked about Pillars of the Earth and stuff, like a few of those that you and I chatted about and how we thought those were good. But what is your favorite?
You posted something like that probably a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I can't tell you that. Like, I honestly can't even tell you that I have a favorite genre because I just love books so much. Um, Books are an opening of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And for children, I think sometimes it is an escape. Or, if you're shy, like, I mean, I was like painfully shy. And so I could get lost in books. But the books evolved, so I started out with like maybe like Charlotte's Web, or, well, actually, my first remembrance of reading is actually Dr. Seuss. Hands,
Yeah.
fingers, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, like, yeah. Are you my mother?
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah.
Very good one. Yeah.
And right. But I think the joy of reading actually started with that. But then, it quickly escalated. I was that kid that, oh, it's reading time in class. Yes, yes. That was like my favorite time. But it escalated to the point of, like, even very early on, I was writing my own poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the correlation between Dr. Seuss and poetry because that's what Dr. Seuss is. It's poetry.
Oh yeah.
It's learning to rhyme. It's learning, early on to use words to express yourself and to do it creatively.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, I honestly can't tell you a favorite book. I don't have a favorite book. I don't have a favorite genre. I can tell you some books that changed my life and changed the way that I thought about the world,
Right.
and that would go back to classics of just like To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, that's like anything by Mark Twain. I actually
Absolutely.
have a book up on my TV thing right now that my mom got my sister and I for Christmas, and it's leather bound and has the gold edges and is the complete collection of Mark Twain. And of course, she wrote in it, and I still have that, and also
Hi,
one
Mom.
of Little Women. Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Love you, Mommy. But those are
Yes, we love
like
you, Mom.
they are like my most treasured books. They are in a prominent place in my house, not just because of their content, but they're absolutely beautiful to look
Oh
at.
yeah.
So, I mean, you
Like
don't see books like that anymore.
the Easton Press, and I mean, I love those. But I
Yeah.
agree with you. I mean, there's no. I mean, I probably tend to read historical fiction and fantasy fiction more, just because that's what enraptures. But you're right. There's just no. I mean, I can pick up a young adult book, um, or I can pick up a nonfiction book or whatever it is. I don't think because it will always keep my attention. And like your sister said, like Encyclopedia Brown, and I
Hmm.
remember those as a kid, and I
Judy
just
Bloom.
yeah, Judy Bloom. And I just got my Solon, our son. We went into the library the other day, and he got some Hardy Boys, and I almost my heart just went, oh,
I
you make me so
know.
proud.
I
You make me
know.
so, because that's what I grew up on was Hardy Boys, so I love it. And he enjoys them. I mean, I can even read Nancy Drew. I mean, there's no book that I won't pick up and read because it's oh, this is a romance. I mean, I have some of those Walmart dime cereal romances because there's some good. Yes, they're so good. And my mom got me hooked on those cereals, and I know they're cheesy, but they're fun to read. But
But they're not
yeah,
cheesy.
I
That's the
yeah
whole thing is you read what you're feeling at the moment. So if you're looking for like a little zhuzh romance going on, that's what you read. If you're looking for something a little more serious, that's what you read. I mean, so it's not you know, like, oh gosh, I'm only going to read dystopian things. No, you
Yeah.
read how you're feeling, you read how you are in life. And you know this as well. When you go back and read them, you view it differently as an adult
Oh
than you
yeah.
did as a child. It
Oh,
means something else to you. But you also realize that, oh gosh, that was a lesson. You know, I mean, it was fun reading it, but I didn't realize that I was getting that lesson out of it. And that means
absolutely.
so much in your life, you know. I mean, it really does. I mean, like, and there are so many things that like people don't even realize that actually are a series, like The Giver. That's a whole
Yeah.
series. Most
Oh
people
yeah.
don't even know that. Grapes of Wrath, like John Stein, like that is all correlated. That's a series,
Well,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. I love Steinbeck.
Yeah, I mean, there are like so many different books that that maybe that was the most popular. Or now it's considered a classic, but the books after it just weren't. That you can continue on with that whole story, you know. I mean, with that whole
Oh yeah.
family, that whole, you know. I mean, just getting sucked into it is the whole thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, one of the earliest, again, like I said, one of the earliest, as I'm used to, like historical. I love Gene Aul and the Clan of the Cave Bear
Yes,
and that
yes.
series. What a and then I was talking about uh, Cornwell and Cornwall the other day, and he has, you know, the Last Kingdom, and that's all the, you know, before England was joined as one. You had Mercia and Sus, and you had all the kings and the Vikings, and I think that's I have those moments more than I do. But man, I can sit down and read Killers of the Flower Moon, or I love Oklahoma history. I love anything dealing with Oklahoma history. Period. Just, you know, just me being a nerd, but you know,
Well, you
you're
know,
right. I
Killers of
just
the Flower Moon. You know that one spoke to me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So,
And man, it just I mean I briefly remember talking about it in school years ago. You know, it's one of those things that just kind of just nobody ever heard about because, you know, well, but it should be well known because it literally started the FBI. I mean, that's where the FBI started
do you
Hoover and
remember
all
that
them.
in school? Because I don't remember that in school. I mean, we went to the same school,
We
so I don't remember
yeah
that.
we talked about, and if I remember, we talked about a little bit of it with Mr. Usselton. You know, not as a in the book thing. We just kind of got, you know how Usselton is, and we got kind of off on a tangent one day, and it went from there. So that's how I kind of knew about it, and then it was amazing. And David Grand did like I said, David Grand did an excellent job with writing the book and the research. So I highly, if anybody's out there's never read it, highly suggest Killers of the Flower Moon. I know the movie's coming on Apple or something, Apple TV or something, but the book, just go get the book. It's fantastic. But yeah,
Our my book
I can
club
read this.
that I do for because I run the book club for OUHSC campus, the uh, University of Oklahoma Health Science Center campus. I run that for the whole campus, and that was one of our book club books. And the research assistant that helped the author um, is in Norman at the Norman
Yeah.
campus, and she actually came to speak
Oh, very
with
cool.
us. And we actually did a book by Rhea Askew, and somebody else was doing the book club at that point. And I was like, hey, you know, she's a professor at OU, right? OU Norman. I said, she was one of my English professors. Like, we should probably get her to come to our book club meeting. And she did. She came and she signed all the books and everything. I mean, it was really,
Awesome.
you know, yeah. So I've had such a
Yeah.
great experience doing that. But
So what is it like to do a book club? Is it I've never I mean we talked about how you do a book club, but I have never been a part of one, and I want to be I want to do
well, it's
the talks and
different.
things like that.
It's different. Okay, so I was involved with the Choctaw High School Book Club, um, and also just getting kids pumped up about reading. So we would have classes come in, and we would do book trailers. And so I would pull up like all of the popular books or whatever, and people have made like little videos to promote the books, and it would really get kids interested. But as far as like running a university campus book club, like my members are doctors, nurses. It's really interesting to get their take on the books that we read, and their feedback. You know, there's always
Sure.
feedback for the books that I choose and that kind of thing. But I mean, I enjoy it. Okay, and I'm going to be honest. I was voluntold to do it. So, but then I
I
was
know
like,
voluntold very well.
right. And then I was like, well, you know what? I really enjoy doing this. I shouldn't be intimidated just because it's, you know, a college atmosphere and I might be, you know, uh, being the head person for a ton of doctors and students and staff, because it's open to everybody. But I mean, I really enjoy it. And we have some really great discussions that give me some excellent points of view. We actually did not too long ago. It was two different books. One was a fiction book, and the other one was the true story about the adoption agency. And her name was Georgia Tan, and they were operating in, I want to say, the fiction book is Before We Were Yours, and I can't
Oh
remember
yeah.
but it was, they were literally like stealing children, and some of the people that were participating had been adopted and didn't know like their birth families and that kind of thing. Some of them were Native American. A lot of the characters in this book were Native American children that were taken. Some of the people were, like some of the mothers were told that their babies died at birth and the hospital took them and sold them. And
Wow.
then 50 years later found out that their child was still alive. It was actually really gut-wrenching to read, you know, the fiction book, the real book, that, and it's by the same author. She got so much feedback from the fictional book that she wrote, from real children that had went through Georgia Tan's adoption stuff, and high up people, all the way up to the governor, the sheriff, knew about all of it.
Oh wow.
But they were covering it all up because they had all bought kids
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
there. So, but that's what I'm saying is like even a fiction book can open up your eyes to something realistic. Because when I actually, one of my book club members suggested the fictional book, she had given up a child for adoption whenever she was young, and her daughter came back and found her several years ago. And whenever I was researching that, I found that the same author had written a realistic book that had counts from the actual
Real.
kids that went through this.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, you know, reading can just open you up to like so many different things. And
Yeah. Sorry.
well, and going back to like historical things, like, and just recently, like the Tulsa race riots, like
Mhm.
everybody was saying, you know, I grew up in Oklahoma. I never heard of this. I never, you know, the only reason that I heard of it was because in, I think it was our junior high library, there was a book called Tulsa Burning.
Burnt Tulsa burning. Yep.
And that was the only reason. And I saw that it was based on a true story. And that's the only
I
reason that I knew anything about it.
Yeah. I don't ever recall that being taught in
Mm-mm.
any Oklahoma history class or anything like that. And it wasn't until, yeah, it was one of my first few years in the military that I even learned about, and it was Tulsa burning was what I had read as well. So, um, but yeah, it's a shame that that's what it is. And I don't want to get all political or anything like that, but
No.
yeah, you're right. It opens it up. And I'm so thankful that like you said, my daughters even now. I mean, we go to the library like every 2 weeks we go to the Metro here in Edmond, and they love books, and Ellie's really getting You know, she's just turning 4, but she's getting better at reading, and it's she loves it. And Rainey, you can't keep a book. I mean, even when walking to bed, it's got to have a book in our hand. And I know they got that from me because I walk to my bed
Yeah.
carrying a book. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's I love that, and like I said, I love that my son or Solon gets to um, read some of the books that I grew up with, and he enjoys them. So yeah, I mean, we could talk all night about books. I know. I'm going to be letting you go here soon. I got some kids to take care of as well. But I just wanted to get like the ball rolling of what we're talking about. We talked about the doing the Native American law and things like that. I think we talked about. So I really would like to do that show when we get a chance because I am most interested in that, and I have a lot of friends. So what do you think about that as our next show?
Yeah, I mean, Native American law is pretty convoluted, and just to give you a background, I have a master's in Indigenous Peoples Law from University of Oklahoma College of Law. So that's it's a passion of mine. My husband is Cherokee. He works for a
Yep.
Citizen Potawatomi. Actually, my first 2 weeks that I started class, I was like, by the time I'm done with this, I'm going to be a really angry person, and that's just
Yeah.
not me. But and
Yeah.
also, I think that just another show. I mean, if you would like to get some other participants, I mean, we talked about the traumatic brain injury and PTSD
Yeah.
show, and I know
Yep.
that you probably know a lot of people that are going through that. Uh,
I do. Whichever
so
one you want to do, we'll do them.
well, just real quick,
Yep.
just for Salon. Okay, so how old is he?
Solon is 11. Yeah, 11.
He's 11. Okay, so I would recommend a series for him, and he may have already read it, but it's Gregor the Overlander. And it was Gavin's favorite series of books, and it's by Suzanne Collins, the same author that
Yep.
did The Hunger Games,
Yep.
but
I know what it is.
it's geared towards a younger audience
Yep.
than The Hunger Games
Yeah,
is.
it's no idea. We had it in the bookstore, and I don't know if he's read it. We did read. We just got done with him with The Land of Stories. The young kid from Glee wrote those.
Hmm.
I'll think of his name. But that was a fantastic series. So yeah, I'll check that. Yeah, I know, man. That was one of our best sellers. Was Greg? Was that series by Susan Collins? So yeah, I'll definitely have
That
to check it out.
surprises me because like every time I suggest it, nobody's ever heard of it. And Gavin loved it so much. I mean, he's 25. This last Christmas, I actually rebought him the whole series because I had donated his series to the Choctaw High School. But he loved it so much and was
There's
like, "Mom, I wish I could read those books again."
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't think there's an age limit
There's
on
not.
any series. I don't. And I love that he has that nostalgia for it. So that's awesome that you got a new set. But yeah, we're gonna go through the Hardy Boys, I think, since so I'll check out the Collins series. But yeah, that's awesome. Um, well, I'm gonna get off here. I just wanted to get our first show done, and we'll be bringing you back for more. Uh,
For sure.
Looks like Rick Wilson said you are a natural at a librarian, and I agree with him 100%.
Well,
So
it's a
I
her,
want to.
and I actually
Oh,
taught some
sorry.
classes for her, and she could probably do a better job at editing your book than me because she's written some books.
Yeah,
So,
looks like it's time for my glasses to get an upgrade. I apologize. It's Ricky Wilson. I
yes.
apologize. So my glasses are not that great, but I appreciate everybody coming out to watch. Thank you for coming on again.
Oh,
I
sorry
love
for
you
all the
so much.
technical difficulties, and I love you too, boo.
Uh,
Shout out to our mommy. Hi, mommy.
yeah, shout out to mom. I love you. You're the best sister out there, sweetheart. Keep trucking, and you're gonna be getting about another 15 to 20 chapters here in about a week or so. So be ready for the next 15 chapters or so.
I'm ready. I'm
If you're all right with
excited.
that. All right.
But just
Cool. All
remember,
right.
I'm not a dick. I'm not being a
Yeah,
dick.
I
Okay.
know. I know.
All right.
All right. I love you. We'll see you
Love
soon.
you too.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Payton Jones, my sister, my family, my best friend in the whole wide world. We talked about books and her job as a librarian and some of the stuff that she does there at the University of Oklahoma. But thank you so much for coming out and watching tonight. This, like I said, this show just cannot happen without each and every one of you that come out and support us. And man, it's fun to do this, especially uh, when sometimes you just can't get out and talk to people up face to face. But again, thank you for coming out every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central, Dash of Life. So thank you. And remember what I say every show. Take care of one another, love one another, and I'll see you next Wednesday.